let's jump in to our story. Now, the Ron DeSantis campaign is kind of falling apart. In fact, if the Florida presidential primary was held today, Ron DeSantis would lose the Florida presidential primary by 20 points. By 20 points. And even if it was only Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis running in that primary, Ron DeSantis is still going to lose by 17 points. So it's like, how embarrassing is it going to be for, like when Ron DeSantis was thinking about getting in the race, I was like of one of two minds. My primary mind was I don't care. To be really honest about it, I mean, I've said it a million times. I am not voting for a Republican again. I think that Republicans want to lose. I think that Republicans are a victim cult that want to be victims, and they are more comfortable when they are losers than when they are winners. They have no idea how to lead, and they make more money when they're controlled opposition as well. And so Republicans want to lose. They set themselves up to lose all the time. We're going to talk about some of the ways in which Republicans set themselves up to lose on this particular stream. And so I said at the outset, I'm like, I'm not voting for a Republican ever again. F you guys. Show me you actually care about winning, and then maybe we can talk. Okay? Then Vivek Ramaswamy got in the race, and I have loved and admired Vivek for years. I think that Vivek is a once in a generation mind. I think Vivek is exceptional. I think Vivek has his finger on the pulse of what is actually wrong with the world. And I don't agree with Vivek on everything, and I don't agree with all his policy positions, but I also have communicated with Vivek enough to know that if you come to him with good ideas and you make good arguments, you can't just show up and say, I want you to do this, Vivek. He's going to go, why? But if you make a good argument to him, you can sway him. You can influence him. He is very open-minded, but he's going to want you to back up your idea. It's not a matter of just saying it. You actually have to come and back it up and show him that you're right, right? So when Vivek got in the race, I was kind of like, all right, maybe I would vote for a Republican if it was Vivek, but I'm still not voting for Trump. I'm still not voting for DeSantis. So I was really like, between the two of them, I was like, I don't really care. Like, Vivek's probably not going to win the primary, although I do think it'll be really interesting to see what happens when it comes to the debates. Because personally, and this is a little bit off track, but I think that Vivek is going to wipe the floor with all of them in the debates. And I think that when the debates happen, it's going to be the first time that the American public has really been introduced to Vivek Ramaswamy as a candidate. Of course, I've seen him running around New Hampshire. I've been to several of his events in New Hampshire, and he is amazing when he gets in front of an audience. Even the libertarians in New Hampshire have been coming to his events and asking him questions, and he answers them. Doesn't always give them the answer that they want, but he answers them fairly, and actually speaks to their concerns as well. And he got a great reception at PorcFest. I'm sorry. There are people that have problems with some of Vivek's positions at PorcFest, but Vivek had an amazing reception at PorcFest. Don't get it twisted. So I think that when the American public actually sees Vivek Ramaswamy on the debates, I think that could make him a little bit of a dark horse contender, because no one likes anyone else that's running. And I would say that's true of Trump too. Of course, Trump has his loyalists. He has his cultists. I do think that there are some people that are very culty about Trump. I really do. I personally don't think that Trump would win in 2024 at all. I think that if the GOP nominates Trump, even if Vivek is his VP, and don't fucking tell me I have to vote for Trump if Vivek is his VP, because the VP doesn't do shit. If the GOP nominates Trump, I think they want to lose in 2024. If the GOP nominates DeSantis, I think they want to lose in 2024. The only way that I will believe that the GOP is serious about is serious about winning is if they nominate the only candidate that I think can actually win, which is Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay? But barring that, because God knows the GOP, because they're so fucking culty about Trump, are not going to take that good advice because the top priority of the GOP, here's what the GOP's top priority is. Own the libs, piss the libs off, make the libs mad. The libs would be so mad at Trump. The libs would be re all the way home. Now, I like re as much as anyone, but I don't actually and don't get it twisted. I'm going to enjoy the re and the media crying and complaining. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to eat popcorn. I'm going to be entertained as shit by it. We're going to talk about it a lot on the streams. But don't get it twisted. I'm not going to vote for someone who's only being nominated to own the libs. And the only reason that Trump, the only practical reason that Trump really has the support he does is because he is a massive own to the libs, which is all that the GOP seems to care about. Okay. And so I find it just like really like massively clown world that Ron DeSantis currently would lose to Donald Trump in his own state. How embarrassing for Ron DeSantis. My bigger point is this. This is a goddamn clown show. This is a joke. This is not something that we should be taking seriously at all. In my opinion, Ron DeSantis should find a way to gracefully bow out and say, you know what? Like, I mean, he obviously won't. But God, how embarrassing is it going to be for Ron DeSantis to lose Florida to Donald Trump? Like, DeSantis is going to stay in. He's going to do the debates. He's going to pretend that this is something that he can win. But Ron DeSantis will never win this primary. He has already shot himself in the foot. And if he somehow managed to eke it out against all odds, then there is absolutely no way that Ron DeSantis is ever going to get elected president. He has got to do a massive about face on the gay issue. And this is what the far right, like conservatives, don't seem to understand. And I'm not talking to anyone in my chat necessarily, because I think you guys do understand. But I'm just going to say, in general, there seems to be a lack of understanding among socially conservative people that it's not just gay people that care about whether or not you're homophobic. Like, I'm straight as an arrow. Don't let the haircut fool you. Don't let the fact that I'm a tomboy fool you. I am straight as an arrow. And I will never, ever, 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 ever get anywhere near someone like this. Because I think it's disgusting. I think it's gross. Don't be ripping on what people do in their own bedroom. You don't have to participate in it. Start focusing on things that matter. The fact that DeSantis's first big kind of like, campaign ad that went viral was bragging about how homophobic he is, rather than, I don't know, maybe talking about woke stuff, maybe talking about the woke ideology, maybe talking about schools in a more pragmatic, nuanced way. There's so much stuff that DeSantis could have done that he damn well refused to do because he just had to own the libs and own Donald Trump for being too liberal. So I told you at the beginning that my friend Joseph Forcato asked me last night, what does DeSantis stand for? What does DeSantis stand for as a candidate? And I had no idea how to answer him at the time. And I think I said something to the effect of, I think Ron DeSantis stands for whatever is going to get him the most media attention. That's it. That's what I think he stands for. I don't think that he actually has principles. I don't think that his policy positions are something that he is coming to from a principled position where he is exerting leadership. I think he's thinking about what can I do to own the libs and to get the media crying and complaining? Because if I own the libs and I get the media crying and complaining, that's going to look good for me on the conservative right so that I can win the presidential primary. I think that that's what he's thinking about. And that's just not going to work. And someone needs to seriously sit him down if this farce of a campaign is going to continue and convince him to do a major about face, fire everyone involved with that anti gay ad publicly, make a big goddamn show of it, because Ron DeSantis is going to get overtaken by Vivek. Of this, I feel confident. I absolutely believe Vivek is going to come in number 2 in the primary. I don't think he'll beat Trump. God, that would be amazing if he did, though, but I don't think he will. But I absolutely believe that Vivek is going to beat Ron DeSantis. And if nothing else, Ron DeSantis has got to find a way to drop out before the Florida presidential primary. Because goddamn, how embarrassing would it be for Ron DeSantis to lose in Florida by 20 points to Donald Trump?